Hi, I'm Sophie. I'm the founder of The Feminine Edge, which is a methodology, a movement, and a community of female leaders who are all impact driven, who are rising up whilst thriving in their lives. And today I'm going to talk to you about how I went from burnout to thriving and living life my way, and how you can create that new belief system within you that really supports how you want to feel in your life, what you want to do in your life. So I'll start at the beginning of this journey, which is when I had complete burnout. We had a toxic investor in my last business. I was pregnant with my second child. I had a 1 year old. My mum had been diagnosed with cancer. We were in lockdown, which also not only did all the lockdown stuff, but created big changes in our business at the time. And that business was an FMCG business, a snacking brand, which was in major supermarkets, offices all around London, and we were exporting as well. So I was really, really struggling. I was working every single night, every single hour. I was so in my head. I found it impossible to wind down. Wasn't allowed any wine because I was pregnant, and I was really, really desperate. And it came to a point where I was having panic attacks. I had a particularly bad one in a midwife appointment, and they very strongly recommended that I go on antidepressants. And with zero headspace for understanding how I felt about that, and having never considered that it would be something I would need, I decided to finally listen to my mum, who was a yoga teacher, and try breathwork. She said, Soph, I just really think breathwork is going to be the thing for you. And it changed everything. I couldn't believe how you could literally shift how you physiologically felt just by using your own breath. And I'm someone who has used loads of different alternative therapies, who has done a lot of meditation. Breathwork changed to something so dramatically for me. I couldn't believe the profound relationship that I was able to build with myself through breathwork. And this is because within breathwork, you're not outsourcing your issue to someone else. You're not waiting for that to solve it or that to change it. You're truly going inward, and you're using the breath to change how you feel. It is absolutely amazing. So once I had regulated and found my feet and become completely obsessed with breathwork and started a 400-hour breathwork trauma-informed training, I just think if you are clear on what you want, you will find the time and energy. And I was very clear I need to go and do this. It made zero sense on paper, but I just knew I had to do it. It was such an amazing course, and I knew that that would be in my future. I needed to be able to bring breathwork to more people. And what breathwork did on the other side was it really brought to my attention the amount of patterns that had led me to being in this place of complete burnout. The way that I was wired for stress, for these adrenaline rushes to be what validated me, what motivated me. It really showed me that this issue was much bigger than purely being stressed. And a lot of decisions that I was making, a lot of the ways that I was getting obsessed with different things in my life, that next answer that was going to change everything, was actually because I had very, very low self-esteem, and my belief system was purely wired for survival. And that survival being on a lot of other people's terms. There was a lot in my life around approval from other people, which I really had not realized yet. I had created a life that was perfect on paper, but I was constantly blocking myself from being able to enjoy it. And I always came up against huge internal breakdowns every single time I tried to grow. Every single time something was going really well, I would find a way to sabotage it. So breathwork was an amazing way to really open up the system within me, which is called the coex system, your entire body's filing system of memories, even those things that you aren't conscious of, even those things that were unspoken, that your parents felt tension around as a child. It allowed a lot of stuff to come to the surface. And I'm a true believer that your body will only allow you to bring to the surface what you're able to handle. And it enabled me to become regulated and recalibrated. And this new knowledge, which I then trained to be a coach around, a woman-centered coach, a feminine power coach, I was able to actually understand what to do with that and help myself move forward. This is what I do with clients now, and it's so unbelievably effective because it's not just about your business, it's not just about you as a parent, as a daughter, as a sister, it's about you as a whole person and your human experience being what is going on in your body. It actually doesn't really matter what happens in your outside world because that experience is going on in your body and you do have control over what that looks and feels like. So that first step was regulation, recalibration, building structures in my life that supported me. So a lot of breath work, a lot of journaling, a lot of gaining understanding of actually what I wanted that next step to look like. And actually, at that time, understanding that I found it quite hard to look really far ahead and create these business plans that I had been doing over and over again in our last business, especially because we'd gone through different rounds of looking for investment. This was not how I wanted to do business. I wanted to create a business that came from intuition, that I was able to move with, evolve with, and not have any restrictions that someone else told me were the right things to build myself. So I had clarity on what that next step was. And don't get me wrong, visualization has been such an amazing tool to understand that bigger vision. And visualizations that I had a few years ago are coming to fruition. So there really is a balance here of having that bigger purpose, that bigger feeling, and having goals that might be further ahead in the future and being open to those things, but also understanding what you want next and really getting clarity on why. Then it is owning your power to create. And this is where the art of knowing, manifestation, you in your role as a creator of your life, of your human experience in your life, really owning that power. So you know that you are the strongest influence for that, that you can create a reality that is whatever you want it to be. When you own that power, it's much easier to actually start to open up to limitless possibilities. And I know that that might scare people on some level, but actually, what is that next possibility for you? How do you want to feel in your life? How do you want to be showing up? You get to decide all those things. And it's not about changing who you are. It's not about waiting until you're more confident or feel more comfortable in front of a camera or whatever it is that you're telling yourself to block your dreams and goals. It's about knowing what you want and then knowing how to work towards that through reprogramming your subconscious. And then finally, it's about visibility. Are you seeing yourself for who you are? Or are you constantly going, when I'm this, when I'm that, when I get this money, when I'm thinner, when I'm talking from experience, when I stop drinking, all these things. Are you showing up as you? Are you seeing yourself for who you are right now? Or are you shaming yourself? So that's the first place to start. And then it's making sure that you are visible to your audience, so your network, your potential clients, customers, and also then to the people who are in your life, your friends, your family. And these aren't done in steps. These can be done in duality. And sometimes we're not really showing up in this area, but we can't stop talking about what we want to do. Or we're fully showing up as the authority, talking about what we love, but everyone in our family is blocked from our mailing list or our Instagram, or we just feel that cringe. So really understanding that you're showing up fully as you and you're actually able to express yourself and not overcomplicating this with trying to work out how to express yourself, but doing it authentically as you, not waiting for the trends, but going with it anyway, and then trusting the process, being allowed to be visible in your way. So just to give you a little bit of motivation now, I want to talk about my current reality. So not only am I the most confident that I've ever been, I'm not louder. I am not controversial, particularly. I know what I believe. I know what my values are, but I'm very, very comfortable in my body. I'm very, very safe in my body. So even when I go into a situation, I'm not showing up there with bells and whistles. I'm showing up there grounded, present as me. And that for me has been the most profound shift because that truly is freedom to me, being able to be completely yourself, to express yourself, and to know you deserve love, money, clients, whatever those things are that you crave, that you're allowed to desire by being yourself. And my external world looks pretty great too. I am living in my dream home. We moved to Bristol last year, the end of last year. My business is making multi six figures, which was a pipe dream, but I knew I could do it. I wanted to become that reference point. I have absolute dream clients and I'm scaling my business, but I'm basing the strategy that I'm scaling with on my intuition and feelings. Really, I am. It's so much better than comparing, looking at someone else's blueprint. And whilst I get support, I work with coaches, I join workshops, I really do allow myself to learn and be inspired. I know where to come back to create from, when to create these things. And it is so much more effective when you're in tune with who you are and you have clarity on what you want and you're open to listening to those opportunities around you, that you're actually creating those things that you want when you're in tune and aligned. That's when these things happen. And this, in the last week alone, I've been booked for 3 speaking events. Have I done more? No, I haven't. Have I connected with more people? Probably, but it's come quite naturally. Have I asked someone for something? No, it's all stuff that I've built up and I have become this go-to by making myself known, yes, but always following my intuition, making decisions based on that gut desire and that gut feeling and how and my readiness of moving forward, but also knowing how to regulate myself and create that growth within myself at each stage. And at the same time as this, I have always wanted to earn a lot of money. I've always wanted to be known for something, and I do deeply care. So I've never worried about being out of integrity around that. I don't believe that chasing money is conducive to building wealth. And at the same time, my husband and I made the decision to have kids however many years ago. And I really wanted them to have a loving home where they felt safe to be themselves because I was regulated and not only physically present, but mentally present for them as well. This is the reality that I wanted. Yours will be different. I didn't necessarily see that evidence of this being possible before I created it for myself. I listened, I created the subconscious that I wanted, and now I'm living my life. And at the same time, I'm experiencing growth all the time because I love that I'm a growth being. I love that I have ambition. And I've truly embraced that rather than trying to shame it, trying to tell myself I should feel lucky and then just burning out because you're doing what everyone else expects of you or what you think they expect of you. Often they actually don't. You're just making that assumption. So I really, really hope that this has been helpful for you. I would love to hear your experiences of maybe burnout, maybe the flip side, maybe where you're at right now and what you're wanting to create, and see if the feminine edge is the way that's going to really resonate and be that tipping point for you to, from where you are, through holding you, taking that leap to where you want to be.